Hello and welcome to the summer series in association with H&H. My name is Matthew Manners. If you don't know who I am, I'm the founder and CEO of Inspiring Workplaces. I just want to say thank you to all our amazing partners, especially H&H, for supporting the summer series this year. Today is actually my first session of the series, probably the first one in about 12, 13 months, so apologies if I'm a little bit rusty. But it's also the last session of the summer series. Now, they say they always save the best till last, and that's definitely not true with regards to our hosts, because I'm definitely not as good as the amazing Ruth Dance, my colleague that's led the series, as well as the amazing hosts from our partners, H&H. I really want to thank them for guiding us through some amazing stories and insights this month. However, that saying might just be true and correct for our last guest storyteller. Today we bring you the #1 inspiring workplace in EMEA and in top 3 across North America. We welcome Takeda. On the way to these accolades, Takeda created a people experience strategy to support the purpose of better health for people and a brighter future for the world, a purpose that we are fully on board with and support. So today, please welcome me in joining the Group CHRO of Takeda, Antonio Calco Labruzzo. Let me just see if I can get this right. Welcome, Antonio. Hello.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me well?
We can, Antonio, and you
Super.
Look like you're in a much sunnier place than myself. Whereabouts in the world are you joining us today?
I'm in the very, very south of Europe. I'm in Sicily, my home place.
Wow. Fantastic. That's on the bucket list right there. Wow.
I,
Very jealous.
I can give you a couple of tips, and apologies in advance if the connection won't be super stable. As you can see, I'm in my summer place. I might have to go off camera, and worst case scenario, I might drop for a minute or two, but I'm sure that we can manage it. Crossing fingers, it will work everything.
That's absolutely fine. I think ourselves and our audience fully embrace working remotely, especially in Sicily. So anyway, thank you for joining us from your summer place, because you should be relaxing. We do appreciate you sharing our story. Congratulations on being #1 in EMEA. And without further ado, I'm going to let you share your story. So I think we've got some slides to bring up, and I will join you at the end of your talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matt. And thanks everyone for joining the session today. Thanks for having us. Thanks Zosha for being with me, my partner in crime today, and part of my team, and Amy for the support on the presentation as well. So maybe without too much further ado, we can start the presentation. And I don't know if Zosha can jump in already, if she's able to say a couple of words of introduction about herself. Otherwise, I can definitely do. Zosha is our HR partner within TBS and global talent acquisition lead within Takeda Business Solutions. She's with us in Takeda since more or less 10 years, and she's based in Poland. I'm Antonio, as was introduced by Matt. I'm global head of HR for TBS, and I'm based, when I'm not on my summer place, I'm based in Zurich normally. If we can move to the next slide, maybe I can start sharing a little bit about Takeda in general as a company, just to give you a couple of key facts and figures, and to make sure that we can give a bit of a perspective. Of course, you can find much more on our corporate website, but just to give you some high-level view. Takeda is a global value-based biopharmaceutical company with a patient-centric and science-driven R&D engine. We have more than 31 manufacturing sites around the world and 3 research sites. We are kind of double headquarter in Tokyo, where our heritage is, and our 240 plus years story began, and Boston It's our second headquarter. And then we have multiple locations around the world, such as Zurich, which is definitely a regional headquarter as well. When it comes to key figures, last fiscal year, we closed with around 30 billions turnover, 30 billions US dollar turnover, and more or less 50,000 people around the world. One of and presence in more than 80 countries. Two of the facts I'm most proud of is, first of all, that we are one of the few top employers, global top employers. If I'm not wrong, we are in the range of 10, 15 top employers, global top employers. So it's really something to be proud of. And second, but equally, if not more important, it's the investment we do on R&D on a yearly base, which is approximately 5 billions, and that's where we can inject more innovation and drugs discovery to serve our patients. Just to tell you a couple of words on the corporate philosophy, we have clear vision, purpose, and values in Takeda, which I will not definitely go into the details, but we also have three clear priorities plus one, and those priorities are the patients we serve, that's the number one, the people in our organization, and the planet we are all in. And we do everything with the help of data and digital, and that's a clear priority for us in our organization in this moment. The ultimate goal, as I said before, it's to achieve our purpose of better health for a better world, and of course we do that by serving our patients, which are definitely the number one priority we have. If we can move to the next slide, maybe I can give you a bit more of an introductions into TBS, which that stands for Takeda Business Solutions. TBS, it's part of global finance and one of the three strategic pillars of the global finance strategy. With a clear vision again, and a clear statement of who we are. We are an award-winning organization committed to creating an exceptional people experience where you feel supported and confident in our solutions. I want to focus your attention on a couple of words. First, it's definitely exceptional experience, exceptional people experience. That's something that we will go back to during the presentation. And then, of course, the supported and confident concept, that's really key for us, for our stakeholders, and of course, solutions. And I will tell you a little bit more about the evolution from service to solution in one or two slides. As I said before, our operating model strives to be best in class, of course, and it's underpinned by our four imperatives that I mentioned before. Those are our four imperatives as Takeda, as a corporate, as well as TBS organization, which is 100% part of Takeda. And as I said before, patient first, people, planet, data and digital. In our organization, we always start and we always focus every activities we do on those imperatives. And I can give you plenty of examples. We met as an extended leadership team in TBS just 1 month and a half ago, and we had 3 full days of activities. And one day was for the patient, one day was for the people, one day for the planet, and all the 3 days were linked through data and digital. That's just to give you a real life story. So, but that's definitely something that is not only on the chart, but it's in everything we do every day. If we can move to the next one, I can give you some more hints into our operating model. As I said before, we are a global organization. We are everywhere in the world as Takeda and as TBS. In order to provide the solutions that I will explain you in a while, we need to be equally globally spread in order to cover all of our stakeholders' needs. We have global hubs such as Łódź in Poland that provides services on a global platform, as well as regional hubs like the one in Exton, Tokyo, and Dublin. And then we have local hubs as well in Brazil, Russia, China, and Singapore. Dublin is also our sort of center of expertise location. And of course, as I said before, as TBS, which is part of global finance within Takeda, we are headquartered in Zurich. So that's our global reach. And as you can see from other type of global business solutions type of organization, we are truly globally spread. Last but not least, I didn't mention it because, of course, in my mind, I tend to consider one location, but we also are in Osaka, Japan, not only in Tokyo and Osaka. If we move to the next one, after mentioning couple of time our people focus, I wanted to immediately deep dive into our people agenda, and just to give you a little bit of a background and also a bit of history of what we have done in the last 2 to 3 years, and that was part of integral part of our submission with the Aspiring Workplace Award. TBS was established already several years ago within Takeda. However, in 2019, we did undergo a quite big acquisition within Takeda. We acquired a company formerly called and known as Shire, which was a company more or less as big as Takeda the day before of the acquisition. So as you can imagine, pretty massive. So the company woke up more or less double size, both in people, turnover, R&D pipeline, and everything overnight. So we went to bed as a 15,000 people company, 15 billion, 30,000 people company, and we woke up as a 30 billion, 60,000 people company. That's where we decided to also change quite drastically and to invest on our TBS organization, because we understood that to leverage the scale effect and to leverage also the opportunity to streamline our processes, TBS was a crucial part of the organization. So the first step we did was to move from the service to the solution. So we did move from Takeda Business Service, which was the what you normally are used to call shared service centers, and we moved into the solution, right, into the solution mentality. And as I said, I will explain more about that. And then we evolved further into the experience and patient connection that I mentioned before. But as you can imagine, while you transition an organization from one day to another into an organization that is double size, and you decide that the TBS organization, the GBS organization, it's crucial for your development, of course you have to develop a people agenda and you have to evolve your people agenda accordingly. So when we started, our first focus was on talent acquisition, because one of the first activities we did was to define our location strategy, the operating model I just shared with you. So the location where our global, regional, local hubs were. Because of that, we decided which activities, which processes, which jobs were located where in our organization. And so we ended up having our final organization. As soon as we had our organization, our to-be organization, the first and most important activities we did was to acquire the right talent. And we didn't only acquire the right talent for what we needed at that day, but one of our key focus was to definitely look long term and think about the so-called next generation capabilities. So to make sure that we were acquiring 2-3 years ago already the kind of capabilities we would have needed in 3-5 years, and to make sure that when the data and digital need in the organization was there, the capabilities were already in the organization. That's what we did. So we immediately focused on, as I said, location, roles, responsibilities, organization, and capabilities on a mid long term perspective. And that's how we went to the market with a revised employer branding in order to make sure we were able to attract the right people at the right time in the right place. Then after that, as you can imagine, we're talking about several hundreds of people hired in a very short period of time. Just to give you a bit of a reference, I didn't mention it before. TBS as an organization is more or less around 1,200 people around the world, just to give you a bit of a context. So I was saying, as you can imagine, after you hire few hundreds people in a short period of time, guess what you have to do next and what you have to focus next? Of course, it's onboarding. And especially if you're doing that right at the beginning of a pandemic that no one was expecting and no one was planning for. So we were hiring big amount of people and we were having a pandemic. So we decided to invest and to focus on our onboarding. We developed a completely newly designed onboarding process with a clear focus on the remote working, of course, so onboarding people from remote. And one of the key point of our revised employer branding was the line of sight with the patient, meaning that as you can imagine, a shared service center or a global business solution type of organization, normally it's considered back office. I've heard that several times. So in several organizations, normally those type of functions are called back office. One of the things that we wanted to really highlight in our employer branding while attracting candidates is that even though our organization is not frontline with the patients, everything we do is instrumental to provide value to the patients at the end. I give you an example. If we take, for example, the invoice process, we manage the invoice process for our organization, right? If we are able to streamline the invoice process, if we are able to save time of our managers managing their invoices because we introduce RPAs, robots, new technologies that are able to automate this type of processes, those managers can spend more time to focus on the patients. Those R&D people can spend more time to discover new drugs, right? So that was one of the key points in our employer branding when we acquired the people from the market. When it came to the onboarding, we wanted to make sure that the people were having that we were walking the talk, so that our onboarding process did put the new hires in connection with the patients first. Second, that we were delivering the exceptional experience that then became more structured, but was already part of our DNA. So we developed this program called the Best First at TBS, where the Best First stands for the best first day, first week, first month, first quarter. And of course, each of those timing were associated with some clear activities in order to connect the minds and the hearts of the people. So there are, and there are still, because the program is of course still running, there are several activities that are more connected with the practicalities of finding the laptop working, the email, and everything that you need on your first day, together with making sure that you have this connection with the patient. One of the program that we introduced is this patient connection, in which all the new hires are involved in a 3 weeks immersive experience with real patients that shares their story and give the real perspective of how it is their life thanks to Takeda's drugs today. So how their lives changed because of Takeda drugs, in order to remind that everything we do it for that reason. That was the second stage. The third stage, which is then definitely linked with our shared ambition, that is to be and be recognized the talent engine that sustain best-in-class ambition while delivering exceptional people experience, is then to make sure that we focus on people development, and all the people that we recruited 2-3 years ago can find a satisfying career path within TBS and Takeda. So in other words, we, as our CEO called us after visiting in Vuj 2 or 3 weeks ago, he said that we are a talent engine for this organization, talent exporter, sorry. We are the talent exporter of this organization, and that's definitely true. That's where we are aiming to. TBS type of organization, GBS type of organization has the great strength of having a variety of different skills and capabilities, because we have finance, procurement, HR, data and digital, as I said. So we have a variety of profiles within our organization. And as you can imagine, most of the other functions can leverage this type of profiles. So in order to do that, our current focus is on people development. And by saying that we focus on people development, it means that we are investing on digital coaching for our people. We are investing on assessment. We are investing on several programs. I cannot recall them all, but we have a number. We have mentoring. We have a platform called Execoline, where you can find all the training material we need, and many more. So I cannot list them all, because otherwise the time will not be enough. But that's the evolution of our people agenda, and that's where we are today, and that's how we want to reach our ambition. I know I'm taking a bit too much time, but this is something that is really close to my heart, this specific point of the people agenda evolution. That's what we're working on with my team on a everyday base, and with all the leaders in the organization. That's the other key point. It's not an HR agenda, and that's something that I presented very recently, but that's a people agenda, which is different. All the people managers, all the leaders, and for me, leader is beyond being people manager. Anyone in the organization is leader. Everyone owns this agenda. It's not only HR ownership, it's everyone's ownership. And that's one of the key, in my view, the key reason of the success of what we are doing and the implementation, because everyone in the organization considered that as a priority. And that's why everyone is investing time, effort, and energy in making that happen. Anyway, I could spend hours and hours on this point, but I know we have to move on. So if we can move to the next slide, probably we can have a very high-level view of the 6 different points that we covered in our submission with Inspiring Workplace. I don't know if that at that point Zosha can connect and can give an overview of the 6 points. By the way, Zosha is as I said before, the leader for talent acquisition, as well as the HR partner for some sub functions within TBS, and she's also the person that led and coordinated in order to make it happen when it comes to the submission and this beautiful award that we have been humbled to receive. So congratulations to Zosha as well. Zosha, I see you on the screen now. So mic to
I'm
you,
here.
stage to you.
Thank you, Antonio, and it's great to be here. And thank you for a warm introduction. And as Antonio mentioned, I think that it takes us so much time to talk about those things, as we are super passionate about what we are doing. And today we would like to take a couple more minutes to walk you through actually our story, so TBS story, and our people experience strategy that always puts the patient at the heart of everything we do, to actually let us to support our main purpose, Takeda's purpose, which is better health for people and brighter future for the world. So we will walk you through the culture and purpose, the leadership element of the Inspiring Workplaces submission, the well-being, the inclusion, communications, as well as experience. We will try to walk you through that in a nutshell to give you a couple of examples of how we do that at TBS. And we can move, I believe, to the next one. I'm not sure if we are able to speak at the same time together with Antonio, because we wanted to combine our stories to share his point of view and mine as well. So I think, Antonio, if you are here, you can walk us through how our culture and purpose evolved.
Yeah, and this is the one, the slide I was mentioning before a couple of times already. So our story, our culture started, as I said, in 2014, so a couple of years ago already. And Takeda, TBS, was standing for Takeda Business Service. In 2019, we had the first step change in our culture and purpose when we changed from service to solution. It might sound a little bit it might sound just semantic, right? If you think about, but it's not. So the key difference between service and solution is the mentality, is the culture. Service is more reactive, while solution is more proactive. And that was the difference we wanted to see in our organization. The second point that I wanted to highlight is that if you see in our logo already in 2019, one of the main difference was that we have put the patient at the core of everything we do. And that's the story, that the point I said before. So to make sure that everyone in the organization, people that were already in the organization or new joiners, were clear that we are not doing things for the sake of ticking the box, of closing a process, just executing something, but we are doing everything, and we need to challenge ourselves on a daily basis if what we are doing is bringing value to the patients, because that's ultimately what we are here for. And that's not just in the hands of few people in few parts of the organization. If we exist as Takeda, it's because of our purpose in serving our patients. So that's what we have to do every day. That was the first step. And then after 2 years, we decided that we wanted to evolve again and to move into the experience. And I can give you also some background on this one. One of the feedback that we received after 1 year and a half that we started the change was that, yes, you provided me with a solution. But that's what our stakeholder told us. And when I say stakeholder, means internal customers, I mean suppliers, means a multitude of people, a different kind of stakeholders. Several of them, they came to us and said, when we went out with the survey asking how was the delivery from the organization to understand if we were delivering our solutions. So the answer we got was, yes, we got the solution. So you provided us with the solution, but it was painful. So then we understood it was not only about providing solutions at the end, but it was also the way to get to the solution that would have made the difference. And that's where the experience part came in. That's the third step. That, of course, goes together with the patient connection again. And that's something that I will pass back to Zosha. The only other thing I wanted to highlight is that we also decided to be very connected to the 4 imperatives, to the 4 priorities I said before, which are people, planet, patient, and data and digital. And as you can see also behind the patient, now we have the planet. So we had the patient stay there, of course, and on top of that, we have the planet as well. So that's the transition, and maybe Zosha can add something on the patient connection as well.
Yes, thank you, Antonio. So just quickly to make sure
Zosha?
that yes, can you hear me? I can see myself and I can hear myself and
We
see
can hear you,
Okay,
Zosha.
good.
We
So
can hear
just
you.
to add a couple of words around the patient
Yes, we can.
connections, we were able to introduce the patient connections program to our employees, which means that we give our TBS employees a chance to connect with the real Takeda patients, to really feel the purpose, the organizational purpose of our company, and really not to put the patient only on the slide, but to really have that real understanding of what is the purpose of our company. And with saying that, I feel like we can close the culture and purpose element, and we can move to the next section. And this is one of my favorite photos of this year, because first time in, I believe, 2.5 or even 3 years at TBS, we were able to finally meet face to face after the pandemic. So more than 70 leaders from all over the world, because as Antonio presented our operating model, we are spread geographically. We were able to meet face to face. We do that, so we meet regularly, but first time we were able to meet face to face. And this is what is at the core of our leadership strategy. So to enable the network to align on the goals, to align on the business purpose. And apart from really series of initiatives and programs that we also listed within our submission to Inspiring Workplaces, including upskilling things like Exec Online that Antonio already mentioned. So the platform that enables you to get the online training from the pioneer schools from all over the world, including the 360 feedbacks, coaching and mentoring programs that we have developed for our leaders so that they can support their employees with their development and focus really on innovation and upskilling of their people. Apart from all of that, we really value the connection that we have with each other, the networks, the ability to be again close to the business by introducing and welcoming to our sessions people that are our stakeholders and can share with us their feedback of how TBS can support them, what they value in that cooperation, and for us to really understand that the work that we do has an impact, and that we as leaders, that everyone actually at TBS is a leader. So this is our understanding of the leadership. And I think we can move to the next section. And the floor is yours, Antonio.
And I can definitely, yeah, I can definitely chime in on the well-being part. Just for you to know, it's during the pandemic we ran several surveys in which we asked our people how did they feel. It was a huge change overnight in a very complex environment with a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of worries for the situation. And we wanted to make sure we were close to our people, very close. So that's why we had several surveys. We called those care surveys because we cared about our people. And one of the key message we got, which then we discovered it is kind of common to most of the organization, was that the well-being was an area of attention for us. So that's why we decided to strongly invest on the well-being of our people. We established a group that we called Culture and Value that is focused on people's well-being. It's a group of about 20 people that I have the pleasure to lead on top of my HR role. And we decided to focus on three main focus area. One is to be more agile, the agility, because that's one of the reason that we got from in the feedback. We understood that one of the reason why the well-being of our people was not at the point we would have aimed or we understood there was some space for improvement on the well-being side was because the organization agility was not probably at the place where it should have been. So that's one of the things. And we started asking ourselves, what can we do on a daily basis to become more agile? Is there any process we can simplify? Is there anything that we can stop doing? You know, sometimes in the organization you do several things, and then all of a sudden you discover that if you stop doing this specific activity or this small process, the impact is minor. Last but not least, actually, one of the first things that we started doing was to ask ourselves, can we automate sub part of the processes in order to remove burden operational activities from our people? So that was the agility piece. The second was clear investment on well-being. And when I say clear investment on well-being, I mean making sure that the people were feeling cared about within the organization. We're having enough resources. I can give you examples like giving access to hotlines where people not feeling in their best state could have reached and asked for help, or received some professional support. But on top of that, we also organized numbers of activities, gathering people together, always in the respect of the limitations that over time we were having in the different places. But we launched and we sponsored step challenges. We sponsored a lot of activities to make sure people was staying safe, but at the same time also active, which was really important for us. And last but not least, also we invested on TBS development, meaning growing the mindset of well-being. So learning, I can give you examples like yoga classes, like other activities on which people could have also developed the awareness of the importance of this concept in a day-to-day life, and how to deal and cope with the remote working, how to segregate the workspace from the private space while working from home, etc., etc., etc. How to decompress, how to take time off, etc. So that was what we have done on the well-being, really summarizing it in a very short way. I think we can move to the next one, and I can pass it back to Zosha.
Yes, so inclusion, so diversity, equity, and inclusion are not negotiable for TBS. The picture that you can see on the deck is just one of the examples of the initiatives that we do to really stay focused on the E&I. This is the example of the hashtag Break the Bias initiative, really showing how important it is for our employees. And just to be very quick on that as well, to show that it's not the slide with the people only. We are really truly diverse organization. We have 67% of our employees are female. We speak over 15 languages, have more than 27 nationalities in just one single location, and are present in 25 different countries across the globe. So the diversity is hugely important for us, and we are committed to hiring, to supporting, and to retaining talent for all of the representing all of the backgrounds across different functions, including also underrepresented groups. This is also obviously in line with our TBS commitments for the next fiscal year. I'm being conscious of time, and I think we can move to the next section, which is communications, and this is important for us because we were awarded that specific element of inspiring workplaces for that one as well. An effective two-way communication is essential for every part of our lives. And at TBS, we have designed a holistic approach to the communication strategy to actually ensure that employees feel connected to the strategy, that are inspired by our vision and by our aspiration statement. And here you can see a couple of examples of the tools and channels that we are using, including Yammer, having more than 4,000 users, including Slido, when we share the video campaigns of the initiatives that we are handling. We have well-organized SharePoint, and while creating all of those, it's not like top-down initiative. We hear the voice of our employees. The Yammer is the example of purely a bottom-top communication channel. But again, and if you can click again on the slide, Amy, please. What is always hugely important for us are those face-to-face interactions and the possibility to network, and then to be able to cascade to our teams what we have learned during those face-to-face meetings, apart from only being virtual. I think that we can move to the next one, and this will be the last element of our submission.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I can spend I promise few words, not to be too long on this one. So, but as I said, our main evolution, the last stage of our evolution in the people agenda as well as in the TBS story, was about experience, as it is one of the pillar of the inspiring workplace and the submission that we have done. And I can give you real example on which we have done what we say, and this is the CFO in your pocket example. So this is a case in which we took a real business process, a real business issue, and harnessing the power of data and digital, we created a sort of automated way to solve this issue and to strengthening our ways of working. And at the end, what we have improved, it's the experience of our CFOs in their day-to-day business. In order to really give you a simple example of what does it mean CFO in your pocket, it's basically having a bot doing part of the more repetitive activities of a CFO automatically, so that you don't have to run always the same reports or to ask your team to run always the same reports. So that's what we have done, and that's a clear example. It's live. We presented to our investors, which really fell in love with this project and with this process, and it's leveraged and scaled up into the entire organization today. With that, I think we can move on. Also because I hope we will have some time at the end for some question and answer. Before closing, we wanted to share with you a short video that sum up a little bit what we tried to convey in the last 45 minutes. I don't have the audio. Still no audio. Sorry, I cannot hear anything about the video.
We're just looking into that right now, Antonio, just to see if we can fix that audio, because it worked before in practice.
As always, Murphy's Law.
As always, when we go live, there has to be something that decides to go wrong. And what we might be able to do, if it's okay with you both, is to maybe share this afterwards. If this is public, we could have a chat with you afterwards, because I think it looks like a powerful video.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's a good way to save a couple of minutes and step into the question and answer. I was a bit longer on a couple of things.
Look, well, thank you both of you so much, and I think what really shone through for me was the passion that you both have, and I imagine throughout your team, and the organisation for putting, the patient and the people and the planet first. Really, I've got a couple of questions, and we'll see if there's any from the audience too, and a couple of observations, if I may. I'm just going to remove that. Aligning with the purpose of the organisation, so any people that came in could really see the direct line to the impact on the patients, and making that understood. At Inspiring Workplaces, we strongly believe that an organisation really have two aspects. They want to believe in where they're working, and then they need reasons to belong. And for me, it feels like at Takeda Business Services that you are really focusing on giving reasons to believe in what the purpose of the organisation, and then really focusing on the experience side to make them want to belong. Is that how you see it too?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. You really got the point. You really got the heart of what we do, and it's really key. It's really key, and it's not only marketing. That's the other important point. It's not only marketing. It's really about what we do, and we. Oh, someone says Zosha said she cannot hear anyone apart from Antonio. And the unfortunately is because she always can hear me. I'm sure she has enough of me on the day-to-day business. So, but I can sum up what you just said,
Yeah.
Matt. So, what Matt was saying is about the having the patient at the core of everything we do, and making this connection. How important that is to making this a real inspiring workplace, to make TBS the inspiring workplace we have been awarded for, and that's really the key. That's really the key, because all of us as repetitive type of work, no matter what is the level in the organization, no matter what is the role you have, everyone has things that likes better and likes less. Everyone has days that are more energizing and days that are less energizing. But when you wake up and you know that whatever kind of day you're going to have, or whatever kind of meetings, activities you have to do this day, you're doing it for the patients, that changes your day. That really changes everything. And that's the passion you were mentioning before.
I agree. Thank you for that. I also wanted to, it's very easy to belittle things when they've been done in the past. So at one point, quite a simple sentence, you said, we had to completely redesign an onboarding process during the pandemic. How hard was that to do? Or are you still scarred by that? Or did the team come together? That seemed like a very big task.
What was scary, I have to say, because you have to imagine you are reshaping an organization, a big organization, and it is already a big transformation. We did quite several big transformation in the last few years. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of this process that was already challenging, a pandemic hit. And you sit down and you ask yourself, oh gosh, are we going the right direction? Is anything changing? Shall we do anything differently? So we knew the onboarding was key, but we couldn't imagine that it was so incredible. I give you an example. There were days in the last 2 years in which not only we onboarded one leader, but we onboarded the leader with the entire leadership team and the entire teams underneath, like 80 people in one day. And the first in the location, so without anyone in the same role before to take the information from, all virtually in the same day one of the month. So of course that becomes a way for surviving, right? But you know what, to answer your question, what the pandemic told us or gave us was the confirmation that we were going the right direction. We just had to accelerate what we had already in mind, but we were going definitely the right direction.
Fantastic. And I hope you've had time, you and Zosha and the team, to have some leave, to have a break, to recover, because I imagine at some times it just felt relentless, day to day for the past 2 years, and you're the ones looking out for the people within your organization. So I hope you've had time to recover and feel better.
Zosha can chime in on this one. Not that I influenced. It looks a bit weird, but I think her last holiday was in Sicily as well, if I'm not wrong. But not
That's my next
not
holiday.
because not because of me, but I think we try to, as it is, as I said before, we take well-being really serious.
Yep.
We take holidays and time off very seriously in our organization.
And I could ask you questions for hours as well. So I will limit myself to this last one because I'm always interested in it, and especially with the power of the purpose and the fact that your North Star is your people experience. Were there any key learnings that came out of the very, very big merger and acquisition of Shire, with two cultures coming together, that you could share with our audience and our community, that if they were going to go through a merger tomorrow, what to look out for or what to avoid?
Sure. And I can also relate to my experience. I have quite some experience on M&A.
Yeah.
You know, the different stages and different size of M&A. So before the deal, after the deal, data room, due diligence, all the different stages. M&A, it's always thrilling. It's always filled with a lot of excitement and tension, because there are changes, and human beings, as you know, are not projected to change. They are forced into change, and that's something that you need to acknowledge, right? We are kind of animals that try to build routines. So change is something, it's a muscle we have to train. It doesn't come necessarily by itself. What I can say is that what I've seen in the M&A and post-M&A of Shire and Takeda was really having always the people, and then you come back to the priorities. The patient in terms of business, in terms of whatever we do and what we want to deliver, and the people at the center of everything we do. So that's when those, sorry to be very explicit, those fluffy words, when you sometimes read the purpose and the statements of the organization, comes into, okay, that matters. Now that's the time when things matters. It's not necessarily on the business as usual, but when you have something like a big M&A, that's where the difference, you can appreciate the differences. And what I've seen, it's really an approach on which patients were first, people were first in everything we did. So everything that we have done was done really having the people at the core. And at the same time, everything you do through your people. So the teams, the people you have on your organization, the leaders. I don't remember, I think it was in your press when I was asked what is the secret sauce of TBS to get to this award or to be where it is today. And that's definitely the people. When you put teams together, when you put organization together, ultimately you get to the people level. And that's where you really make things get into the right direction.
Well, I think that is a perfect place and a perfect note to finish this session and the entire summer series on, Antonio. I can't begin to communicate how grateful we are as a business for you and Zosha to give us your time, especially whilst you're supposed to be relaxing. I'm a big advocate of taking time off. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know, I didn't ask Zosha to chime in too much because I see she's chatting, but I don't see her on the screen. But if she's there and she wants to say some final words, happy to have you. Otherwise, please allow me to thank Zosha and the rest of the team for everything they do, because that's really making the difference. I think she has internet problems. Yeah.
I think we have connectivity issues. So thank you, Aaron. Go enjoy your time off, Antonio. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, Antonio's gone. What a way to finish. As I said, I just want to reiterate my thanks to H&H, our partners, and our other partners throughout the summer series, as well as Booth Dance, who hosted with our partners from H&H as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for all our community for following us and viewing the summer series, whether it's live right now or on demand. And you might be watching me at Christmas time, I don't know. And we'll be back soon. Thank you so much and have a great summer. Take care. Bye-bye.